Leave it. 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 So this is Viper. Remember her from previous videos. Very fearful, loud noises, people, everything. So one of the very first things that we did with her was take away her food bowl and hand feed her. So this is the exact response that I wanted from her, to pay attention to me. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good. So what we're doing here today is teaching her not to pull on the lead, and reinforcing or teaching her the word leave it. Now you say, why am I saying leave it and giving her a treat? Because when we're walking, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Leave it. Good. So at the moment she's really weary of the camera. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. This is good. She wouldn't walk past these bandanas about a week ago. So the reason why I'm saying leave it is that when we're out and about, there is other people there or anything, and she gets distracted, we'll just say the word leave it. Because that's exactly what we wanted to do. We want to just leave it and concentrate on us, and she knows leave it. But if she looks at us at the right time, she gets her food. So this is her food. These are not treats. So this is her food. This is part of her meal. She eats kibble. That's what the owners feed her. Leave it. Leave it. So she eats 2 cups of kibble, and on average is 422 pieces of kibble. So that's 422 repetitions that we do in the time that it takes us to feed it, and that's usually about 35 to 40 minutes. So we keep them nice and short, lots of repetitions, feeding her at the same time. And because I only feed her by hand, she learns to trust me a lot quicker, she learns to focus on me a lot quicker. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Girl. As well, we're asking her, like, trying to do sit or sort of not pull on the leash, heel, however you like to call it. At the end of the day, all we want is a dog to walk by our side here. This is not competitive obedience, it's just training your dog. So come. So we don't want to have to give a command not to pull. We just want her to just walk next to us, because that's what she's learned to do and that's what she understands. So with the sit, with a dog like this, because she's really scared and fearful, if I was to say sit to her, sometimes she wouldn't do it. Now you notice that she sits the moment I stop and she looks at me. Because as well, the only time I'll give her kibble or food is when she's in position. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to wait for her. I'm not going to say anything. She's looking at me, is good, great attention, but she's not going to get the reward until she does what it is that I want her to do, which is that. Good girl. So, want her to think that by sitting makes the treats come out. It's like a food dispenser. So I'm her food dispenser, and the only way that she's going to get the food out is by sitting. So this is takes a lot of time. It's a very patient way of doing this. But what you will notice as well, while you're doing this with your dog, or with the dog that you're training, you will not get frustrated because you have no expectations. You're not asking the dog to do something, the dog's not disobeying you. So all I'm doing is just waiting for the behavior to happen and then rewarding it. So shaping really. And as far as training goes, so you obviously we train a dog to do something, you will have auto shaping, but shaping is probably the most precise because the dog, we are waiting for the behaviors to happen and we're rewarding them, and then we start putting the words to it. But the dog is the one who is doing it first. So whenever you're doing it, a perfect sit is the one the dog does on its own. And we just keep rewarding it. And she only gets fed if her butt's on the ground. If we're walking around or standing, she will not get the treats or her food. Same goes with walking in front of me. So how I teach that is that she's constantly looking at my hand here, you see? So hand makes the food come out. It's very different to different trainings. You know, you want the dog to make a good dog to make eye contact. Here I want her to focus on my hand. So what I will do is I'll keep my hand just underneath my chest here, like this. Leave it. Good. Good. I didn't have any here, it's all over there. So I'm going to keep my hand here. She's going to focus on my hand. So, I just went there, sorry. So here it is. So I keep my hand here. So whenever she does sit or she does a behavior that I want her to do, she gets some other load of treats. Now you've noticed every single time that I throw the treat and she doesn't catch it, ends up on the ground and she moves, I move myself and we'll restart again. I'm not going to reward or give her any food for moving when doing anything whatsoever. So this is a fearful dog. He's scared pretty much of anything and everything. And the number one objective here for this dog is to focus on me at all times, under any circumstance. And then obviously the owners. So we're going to be able to introduce different stimulations, different things, all while she's paying attention to us. Now you see she's not checking out the camera anymore. And every time I move my hand, she moves her head. You want the food? Yes. But you can see her tail is always tucked in. So this is a dog that obviously missed out big time on that socialization period between 3 to 13 weeks. So unfortunately a lot of those dogs like that will always tend to have a little bit of fear throughout their whole life. They'll be always a little bit insecure. But this is one of the best ways to get them to overcome their fears. Hand feed them, shaping. Trainers out there, I wouldn't be using prong collars or e-collars. I've seen lots of them. They're using prong collars and e-collars at the same time on fearful dogs. That's really a silly thing to do. While you have her in the sit, and she understands that the only time that she gets the food, you can work on duration. So duration, you just increase the time each time. It waits a little bit longer before she gets a treat. once you've got this perfectly down packed, we start feeding out the treats. We start feeding out the food. So we walk around, she sits, good girl. And we walk off again. Good girl, Viper. No, princess. Good. So we did that little exercise 3 times, she got rewarded once. The next time we would do it, I might reward her on the first time. And not the last 2, and then I might reward her the middle time. So you just want to keep the dogs guessing when the food is coming. Their attention's going to be a lot stronger on you, and as well it keeps them a lot more motivated. It becomes motivation to get the food. The longer I stare, the more I do this, the more I get the treat. And when she does what she's told, she'll get 4 or 5. See how she learns? The moment she moves, she doesn't get the food. So she's not going to go after the pieces of food that she just lost until, here we go. Good, good. There we go. As well, she's not allowed to touch me, she's not allowed to touch my hand or jump up on me. If she does, I'm not going to do anything. Just say, no. Then we move off. Good. So we're down to the last piece of kibble. So that means that we've been doing these repetitions for 421 times. This is the 422nd time. Good girl. Oh, magic. Good girl. I'll show you guys as well in another video how we will start introducing different noises. How do we introduce different stimulations, things that usually would set her off. I'll give you a nice quick one. Here with this, for example, a loud noise from a person would sort of freak her out. So the idea would be, no! Good girl. So you start off obviously with a no, and you say good girl, and then you sort of go no, and you just increase the tone of your voice. The higher the voice becomes, the better the quality treats. So we'll swap from the kibble to meat, cheese, salami. The higher my voice goes, the better the rewards become for her. So she learns the higher the voice is, the louder the noise, the more scary the thing is, the better the treat. And this is how we deal with the dog like this. Alright, thanks guys, that's all for now. See you soon. Come on, Viper.